Hello, my beautiful soul family. Welcome to my channel, The Mystical Hummingbird. I'm happy to be here with you again this weekend. Haven't been able to be out here. It's been a really busy week. Mostly things to do with my car thing situation and my work, and it's been a truly very intense week. But I was looking forward to coming in, and then I've been wondering, hold on a minute, I need to get myself situated. I wanted to see what I was going to bring to you in the universe. Is so interesting. I am thrown all this information and experiences that sometimes take me over for a loop, and then I think, oh, what in the world is happening? And so yeah, okay, I will tell you that I've been thinking, so many things have happened to me the last couple of weeks that I haven't been able to, I ground myself, but at the same time, I'm, what's the word? I felt discombobulated because I had a lot of stuff to do, both in spiritual things and material things, and in between. And I'm planning something. I'm going on a trip, and so there's a lot of things that I've been busy with. So what came to my mind the other day, when I have to tell you the experience I had. Hold on a minute, hold the thought. It feels like I'm sitting down too low and I feel like I'm crouched down. Now that's better. Okay. I have told you before that I have dreams. I have like prophetic dreams. For me, dreams come true, or prophetic dreams, okay? Although I don't consider myself a prophet, of course not. But I've had dreams like this since I was a young girl. I had a dream about a half a year ago, and that I had gotten a white cell. And it was handed to me like this by the universe. When I say the universe, I mean God. I didn't see a face. It was like clouds, foam, and I saw this hand, and then this cell was right there, and it was a white cell. And then I was told to use it. Okay. And then I woke up. I wrote my dream down. I forgot it. Okay. After I had that accident that while back, I have to tell you that I had some specific numbers in my phone, like a code, like a password, because I have mischievous little grandchildren with little hands that love to grab Momo's phone. Momo, that's Grammy in Danish. And many a time when they would get a hold of it without me realizing it, I would look at my phone and say, what in the heck? And all these different games, and some of my stuff had disappeared. And I thought, what in the heck? So I got this code, this password. Oh my gosh. I've had it for probably about a year, and you're not going to believe this. Like every so often, because I told you before, I love to read at night, and sometimes I stay and I fall asleep with the book in my hands because I'm so like into the book. And then, or sometimes I'm checking my phone for something and I fall asleep. I put the phone down and then I don't think about it, and then those numbers come up. And of course, even without thinking, I'm so used to it, and I just put them in, and then I have access to my phone. Well, little did I know. Little did I know what happened. After this accident, strange things started to happen. I could not get access to those numbers. I thought, oh, I'm just tired. I started thinking, okay, I know my Social Security. I know old addresses from where I lived when I was a little girl. I still remember them. I remember my old address, my old phone numbers, telephone numbers from my friends, my parents, and all these numbers. And I thought, why in the hell can I remember these numbers? For the life of me, gone. So I did not have access. I know it's a long story, but for some reason I could not have access to my phone, and for the life of me, I did not remember my passwords for important things like your Apple ID, etc., 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 because I never wrote them down. I just had them in, the notes, and my phone, I couldn't open it, so I couldn't remember. So, okay, I tried every way possible. This is why I didn't come over last week. And so I was so discombobulated, and I thought, okay, I have to get another phone. And I had to get a phone because, I'm going on a trip. And I didn't even bring me water. So, what happened? I went and got the phone, and after I got the phone, I realized, wow, the phone is white. Okay, I thought, okay. Now, this dream I had about a half a year ago, okay? So that has come to fruition. You would think, oh, it's a coincidence. Not in my life. Nothing is a coincidence in my life. The universe takes things and then replaces them. Replaces them in the divine timing. Something that you would think I have nothing to do with it, but in a way I do, because I like to work with my mind, and I'm being taught by the universe. When I was hit by that car, when I had that impact and it destroyed the car, my little Subaru. Now I'm telling you, I love Subarus. Those are my favorite cars. And my little Subaru was, I think, kind of like a grayish, bluish color. It was a sedan, 4-door. And I had this dream about 3 months ago, I think about 3 months ago, that I was driving a white Subaru, and then I was going through these paths that were really narrow, and it was like almost impossible to drive, but I was driving. I love to drive fast, by the way. So almost with my eyes closed in this dream, I was driving fast through these, I want to say it was kind of like a, what do they call that? Oh my gosh, this happens when you speak different languages and you have them all in different, and you can't translate to the one from to the other. Hold on. A labyrinth. It was like a labyrinth. So my car, like this, I did like this. And I remember looking up in the sky, and I had a little window on the top, and I thought, oh, I love this car. I love this car, Father. This is so fun. And I could open it up, and then I could see the sky and the clouds, and I just loved it. And it was a white Subaru. This is all I remember. Anyway, okay, that was my dream. So days passed, and then I thought, okay, that was removed, and now my life is really different. So anyway, I'm just throwing it out there. And so it came to my mind about truth. How do we live our truth? What is truth? Now, I like something that Elvis Presley said many, many years ago. Truth is like the sun. You can shut it out for a time, but it ain't going away. And then, if you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Now, that's in John, and Jesus said those words. I'm excited for this subject because I'm here for you, and I am sharing my foundations, what makes me be me, what things have worked for me in my life, and how I'm learning about the divinity, about the relationship that we can have as children of a God, our spirit God. I call him Abba, I call him my lion, I call him my father, I call him my beloved. And when we know who we are, by knowing who we are, we can then make plans to live our truth, right? So, and what is truth? Personally, I feel that whatever resonates with my heart and brings light and clarity to my world, it is my truth. Now, truth is liberating, and truth leads us to a certain purpose, whatever that may be. Now, knowing who we are is of the utmost importance, and we must learn to differentiate between the old self and the new self that's blossoming into life. For example, we might hold on to old versions of ourselves by keeping old labels given to us by society, family, even ourselves. And we can unconsciously keep them as an old worn out sweater that feels comfortable. And when we step forward with our truths, many a time we're labeled a victim when we are only trying to speak our truth. When something really mean or vicious is done to us that makes us look like a victim without us having any control over it, and when we speak about it and bring attention to it, they say, stop acting like a victim. And now I see a powerful distinction between acting like a victim and actually speaking up about actions that were formed against us, that made us a victim without us having any say-so in the matter. This often gets twisted, for being a victim is a factual state. Something unjust or harmful happens to us, and we didn't choose to be in that position. It's not about weakness, it's about us acknowledging our truth of our reality. And then on the other hand, hold on a second. And acting like a victim is something that's used in a manipulative way to try and silence us from trying to claim our power or express that we've been through. It's like dismissing our truth by framing us as a dramatic or attention-seeking. But the irony here is real victims are often the ones least likely to dwell in self-pity because they are too busy trying to survive, to heal, or make some sort of sense of what had happened to them. So speaking up about their truth isn't playing the victim, it's staying in our truth and absolutely refusing to let the harm caused to them be swept under the rug. And people who weaponize phrases like stop acting like a victim are usually uncomfortable with being accountable. So it's a way to deflect or to minimize what actually had happened. So anyone who tries to twist our truths, the truth of our narrative, is either ignorant of our experiences or intentionally trying to undermine us. For speaking our truth is an act of courage in my eyes, not victimhood. And we are more likely to actually be a victim by remaining silent when we speak about these experiences that have hurt us. We're putting a foot forward to getting ourselves free and out of that space of being the victim, and placing the focus, spotlighting that what happened to us, to pull forward some sort of justice in our lives. Once we start progressing towards the space of truth, whatever that may look like for us, we will definitely see other areas where we will see things grow and flourish before our eyes. Here we need to release the old self with the old truths about ourselves and focus on the new self becoming our new truth. I hope you guys don't mind me reading, but I feel more comfortable reading. Although at times, I will speak to you. It's just that sometimes I get excited, so excited about things that I jump from one thing to another, and I leave sentences half spoken. I don't go back and finish, and I apologize for that. So I thought I better just do this, and it grounds me better. Okay, emerging into our true selves is an act of courage, you guys, and one we must acquire if we want or desire to live meaningful lives. I cannot stress that enough. This is why I personally feel it's imperative for us to do self-observation, to become self-reflective and honor ourselves enough to dig deep so we can find the best of ourselves that lies within. It's like when you are going to go and discover a mine, that I'm sure that they go and they have to dig and they have to use, picks and shovels and go in and deep and go into the earth. It's the same way I'm not a diver. I dream one day of learning how to dive because I love the ocean. And if you are going and you go further, deeper to find, to explore, that's me. I think I'm an explorer, like, the movie, the show for the kids, Dora the Explorer. I consider myself really the explorer, because I tell you what, if I had the chance, like if I could really, like right now, if I had the opportunity right now, that if I was in a place where I could just get up, grab my suitcase, throw some stuff in there, and then just leave and go around the world and go to all the places that I dream of going. I mean, I've traveled a lot. I love to travel. For me, to travel is to live. I can't even, there's so much to see. And my brother's going to Jordan in a couple of days. He's going to be there for 2 weeks. And I told him, you have to go to Petra. Oh my God, you got to go to Petra. That's one of my dreams. Imagine those ancient civilizations, the architecture. Can you imagine that was built into the rock? The artisans, the people that created these beautiful places in the world. I know there's beautiful places well, all over, but there's one specific place that is so green, Vietnam. I want to go to Vietnam one day. I mean, I tell you, I have a long list. I can go on and on. Okay, I'll go back to this. See? I better go back to this because I don't want you to lose track of what I'm saying. Okay, so this is why I personally feel that it's imperative for us to do self-observation, to become self-reflective and honor ourselves enough to dig deep so we can find the best of ourselves within. Introspection and self-awareness is key for us reaching a deeper understanding of ourselves. The universe is trying to help us deconstruct traditional beliefs that no longer serve us in our spiritual growth, in our spiritual path. We need to look at ourselves deeply in the most authentic and truthful way, removing all the masks that we may have imposed on ourselves and hidden. Plus, we need to allow spirit to help us open up our consciousness to the reality and the truth of our hearts and who we really are. Ask yourselves, who are you living your life for? Who? If not yourself, are you conforming? Are you pleasing others? Or are you afraid of how people will respond to you, to your truth? Because that's not good enough reason to stay. That's not a good enough reason to stay. You might experience fear of loss, fear of what people will think of us, fear of commitment, fear of rejection, fear of material loss. Fear is an illusion we have created. The illusion that these beliefs create, and then we get stuck in these illusions, and the illusions themselves rule our lives instead of the truth ruling our life. The universe tries to dispel illusions or any sort of old school, rigid, traditional beliefs that no longer serve our growth or development. Get out of your heads. Go out and get some fresh air. Go into Mother Nature. Trust your intuition. Trust your gut feeling. Lean into your soul, your heart, in order to find truth and answers. That takes trust. It takes time and surrender. A love of self. Try not to make decisions when we are in a dark space. Pray, meditate in nature, focus within. Do not be afraid of letting others down. Do what is right for you, what makes you happy. Stop sabotaging your lives. You guys, life is a game. How are we going to play it? Break the chains of imposed self-limitations. You're the only one that can do that. Nobody can do that for you. Nobody can make your life better. You're the one that sits at the head of the, it's your company. It's like, imagine you have a company. You're the company. You're the CEO. You're the head person. You're the headmaster. You're the president of your company. You're the leader. You're the emperor or the empress, the king or the queen. And when you give yourself enough, trust of what you feel here, discernment, and you say to yourself, am I really feeling this? Is this really what I'm feeling? Do I really want something different? Do I deserve something different? Or is this it? Even if you are 100 years old, there's no such thing as old. 100 years young. It's just a number. A number. Because our souls never age. It's evergreen. I'm telling you, nature teaches me. There's a tree called evergreen. He never gets dark. Not even the slightest. Not even in the fall. He is evergreen. My soul is evergreen. So is yours. Thus, we are ageless beings. We're the ones that stamp. You're 5 days old. Oh, she's 4 years old. Oh, that one's 89 years old. You don't need that. Okay. Back to this. See what I mean? Okay, so when we overthink too much, we may lose the momentum that life provides for us to gain a new perspective and a door to free ourselves from our own analytical minds. Unplug from the world, go into a hermit state where you can listen to your favorite music to feed your soul, eat healthy, get plenty of rest, and hydrate yourselves with some good old H2O. Nice warm tea, or I don't drink cold water, only when it's really, really cold in the summertime. I like to have a tea with lime or lemon, and I'll have ice, but mostly I drink tepid water that's not cold or hot, because it's not good for your nervous system, and I've done that since I was forever. So unplug from the world, go into a hermit state, and listen to your heart, listen to your thoughts, listen to your dreams. Listen, give time to yourself. So when you pray or just talk to God, or talk to yourself. If you don't believe in God, talk to yourself. No, that doesn't make you Lulu. It doesn't make you crazy. No. You know what? Some of the greatest minds, they talk to themselves, and it's a wonderful thing, because why not talk to the self? I honor myself and I speak to myself. Sometimes I say, hey, does that look okay? Do you like that? Do you like the taste of this? Was that nice for you? Oh, you need more sleep. Oh, you better get some more water. I talk to me all the time. Okay, now to our heart's truth, we must be loyal. I feel that we owe to ourselves truth. It is an undeniable fact that once we claim and begin to live our truth, the universe conspires to aid us in our newfound belief that gives comfort and sustains our spiritual growth. To gain and find our truth takes much courage, for not all truths are accepted, and there are many truths to be found, for we live in a world filled with diversity, and while some truths may be objective, we should embrace the idea of many truths. Everything that encourages exploration, new thoughts, new ways to do things, everything noble and beautiful that lifts humanity's souls, all of the different ideals, viewpoints that enhance our lives, I personally feel should be considered rather than cling to a single rigid, perhaps, belief system. This is how I feel. This is my truth. There's an old adage, a Hindu adage that I've heard. Truth is one and paths are many. And I also read somewhere, fear is a liar, love is the answer. I don't know who said that, but I read it somewhere in a magazine, and I liked it and I wrote it down. I say, and I repeat, all the illusions, all the things that we create ourselves illusions to sabotage ourselves and to stop us from having fulfilling lives. And we're the only ones that can answer to that, because we are the ones we're the one that's driving the car. No one else is driving the car for you. You're doing it all by yourself. So we need to respect our truth and what we stand for. I feel that as love, we must stand for love. And since love is my truth, I stand by this. One of the greatest gifts that we have been given by Spirit. And if you're not going to fight for love, there's no point of life then. Because what kind of love do you have in your heart? What kind of a person are you? Do you ever think what moves you? When I think what moves me, I think love moves me, because this is what I'm made of. This is my foundation. I have observed this human experience since I was a little girl, and I've been very deep and I've been very aware, and awareness is something that I think I was gifted with that, because I can notice the tiniest little detail in a flower. Or I remember the gecko when I was a little girl, and I picked up this gecko. He was turquoise, and he had patterns that were so incredibly, it was like someone had painted him very delicately and very just so, it was exquisite, the manner that he was created. And he was one of my favorite. I love all the colors. I love all the colors, but turquoise, all the blues, there's something with the blues and turquoise I love. I love the yellows too. I love the brightness and of the energy, and the oranges. I love them. I love all the greens because it reminds me of Mother Nature. And even black because it's mysterious and some sultry. And you know what? And that's another thing I'll talk to you about another time, because I have dreams. I've seen colors in clothing that talk. There's, because everything is energy, there's energy in the material, because these are weaved, you know, like silk. You know how silk is made. See, oh my goodness. I hope you're not mad at me. I'm jumping from one thing to another. Do you see? Because I'm so excited about life. And I wish I could grab you all like this to me here and have you sitting there and have you ask me questions, and I'll ask you questions and partake and have conversation about life and about the things, and how do you feel, and what do you like, what colors do you like, and what makes you feel a certain way. Because I've been like this since little. It's like my daughter gave me these flowers the other day. It was her birthday, and she came to me. I didn't have a car, so I was all distraught and sad, because I normally get flowers and do things for my family, my children, for their birthdays. And she came and she did something that I never expected. I've never had anyone do something like that. She got on her knees and she placed these in my hand, and she said, "Mother, thank you for birthing me." She touched my heart so much, so deeply, that it's my youngest. And she brought these to me, and she made me so happy with them, and I love them. Anyway. Okay. When I was a little girl, I experienced life in a manner that most people, it takes them years to acquire that kind of sensitivity towards awareness. I noted how sweet love was. My paternal grandmother was the epitome of love. I've never known another human being with such a deep, sweet, unconditional love. Her kindness, her joy, her essence was pure love. I hope to emulate her, for she was and is my favorite human being, next to Christ, next to Jesus Christ. Now, love is a truth, a global truth acknowledged by humanity, and love has some very specific aspects. Love is a unique experience for each of us, and love, in my eyes, is the most pivotal function in the evolution of man, a multifaceted truth encompassing various forms and expressions. I see love like an ingredient to the human diet, the diet of humanity. Now, you're going to think, what? Yes, I'm going to say that again. I see love like an ingredient to the diet of humanity. And you probably ask why. It is not a literal ingredient, but in my eyes, love and truth go together. For to accomplish anything in life, you must love what you do. Anything in life, you must love what you do. I love baking artisan breads. I'm a baker. And one day, as I was baking, I thought of the importance of yeast in my breads. Yeast is a fundamental truth to baking bread. Hold on a minute. So, in my mind's eye, I saw yeast as a metaphor. Love is like yeast, and if we don't work it into the dough, the bread won't rise, right? And since love is the most important ingredient in the human diet, love must be incorporated into every facet of our lives so that we can knead love like yeast to make us grow, to make us become the best of ourselves and become the observer of our life, regardless of how many years we may have wasted or how many past mistakes, losses, pains we may have experienced. All of these moments of failure have taught us well. So, okay, it hurts because life can hurt, for we have yet to understand that we have not learned about love yet. And it's okay. Be kind to you. Be kind to you. When you acknowledge in silence, listen to this, when you acknowledge in silence yourselves of these truths, of these lessons. Be in the silence. Be in the silence and take these truths that are part of you. These are lessons well learned, and step aside whilst you give yourselves a pat on the back and say, okay, I did this. I did it. I did it. I am accountable. I am sorry. And I forgive myself. So forgive yourselves. Forgive yourselves. Don't be sad. Be grateful that you've learned that experience, because you're not going to go back and do it again, are you? For if you linger in the past too long, you deny yourselves the lessons life provides for you by staying in the past, embracing the sadness, the depression. Let go of this by seeing the truth that brought you enlightenment and a new discernment, where you can now start fresh and discard this truth that no longer serves you. While you shower and are washing yourself, wash it away with intention. Be intentional while you're washing yourself, and okay, that's gone. I don't want that anymore in my life. Okay, that experience is out. I'm letting it out. So you wash this away with an intention from your heart, and if you need to cry, then do so. Vulnerability is a sacred emotion, and tears, they do the body good. Tears are good for you because it releases the stress, the sadness, and it creates endorphins. It cleans this is how you clean your garden of your mind. When you create a new garden outside and you remove all the weeds and you remove all the crap and the old soil, you take, what do? We sprinkle it with water. We put some new soil and we sprinkle it. We wash it and make it all nice and pretty. And we get it ready to what? To plant new seeds. So what do? You wash yourself. You wash your body. You wash your mind. And then when you're ready, then you can start planting new seeds, new ideas, new feelings. And what do? You become passionate, because you have to add the yeast. The yeast is the love and the passion for your creations. No one's going to create your garden. No one can. Each person that's born into this earth is not born with a pattern how to live life, or with a magazine or anything, with a book, with a manual that says this is what you need to do to have a happy and productive life. We don't have that. We're born into what? Experiences were thrown. When the baby comes out from the vagina, from the mother, it just scoofs out like that. And I've seen babies that we have to catch them because they almost fall to the ground because they come out so fast. Life teaches us. We are our own gurus. We are our own teachers. The teacher lies within. It's sleeping. It's a sleeping teacher inside. The guru that sleeps. Wake him. Wake her up. So don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And don't be afraid that people will hurt you. People have hurt me. I'm no different than you guys. I've had lots of painful experiences in my life. Many of them I am grateful for them, because like I've said before, I didn't know what it felt to hate. And I chose, something that's itching on my back. I chose not to hate. I chose to not keep that, because hatred, the feeling of hatred, the emotion of hatred is so detrimental that it ruined everything. It took away the taste of what life tasted like. I didn't have gusto for life, like I've told you. I didn't have desire, like when someone gave me a delicious platter with mangoes with drizzled the lime juice over it. It could have been like anything. Literally, my palate, it lost the taste. My taste buds lost the taste, and I was just like a walking zombie filled with sadness and depression because I was carrying my pain. But when I would go to the lake and I released and I released and I cried and I released, I forgave what I needed to forgive, and I forgave me for accepting all the breadcrumbing, for accepting all the offenses to myself, for accepting all the things that I should not have accepted. I respect myself. And if someone does me wrong, yes, you forgive them, but you need to speak your voice and say, you know what, I don't appreciate this. I want to work things out, but sometimes we expect an apology, and it should be given. If I offend you, I will come and apologize to you. But we should think of how a person feels, how you treat them. You treat others the way you want to be treated? Ask yourselves. Consider the truths of your hearts and embrace the new you. Do not attach yourselves with your past. The past does not define you. What defines you is the truth that is crying out to be born from within you. It is the stoic soul, the unbreakable heart that is filled with love, the great mind that you are, the great mind that you hold and holds you well-tempered. Observe her. Focus on the goodness of you. Clean up your bad habits. You know them well. By doing so, focus on long-term discipline rather than short-term comfort. Again, I cannot stress enough, the past does not define you, for you are a being. You are a soul that has the light of the Creator. You are a child of God. You are a soul of the cosmos, and millions of our ancestors await on the other side, so close to us here, for our awakening to our higher consciousness. That is the Christ consciousness and the mind of God. They are closer to us than we think. Now, I'm going to share a poem that I've mentioned to you before. I love poetry. I've always loved poetry. I love to read it. I have many. Like, I love the works of Emerson. And I think of so many. I think of Shakespeare. I think of the greats. I love Rumi. Rumi is one of my favorite. I love Khalil Gibran. I love the American poets too. Right now, this moment, my mind, I have so many that are not all coming to me. But this man, this Persian poet from the 13th century, Jalaluddin Muhammad Rumi, he had a way of expression. And I know these are translations into English from the Persian language. And that's one of the languages that I can't wait to learn, because I have something that's very familiar. I don't know if it's an affinity or what it is. I am fascinated by the Eastern, by the Western, and not Western, the cultures from Egypt. And there's something, I don't know how to explain, but it's something like it calls out to me. The Middle East calls out to me. I also love, I just love the ancient cultures. Okay, I'm gonna read you this poem. It's called Poem of the Atoms. Okay. I know it, but I'd rather read it. O day, arise, shine your light. The atoms are dancing. Thanks to him, the universe is dancing, overcome with ecstasy, free from body and mind. I'll whisper in your ear where their dance is leading them. All the atoms in the air and in the desert are dancing, puzzled and bemused to the ray of light. They seem insane. All these atoms are not so different than we are, happy or miserable, perplexed and bewildered. We are all beings in the ray of light from the beloved. Nothing can be said. Truth, clarity, and love for the Creator emanating from the words of this ancient poet, Rumi. This poem, the poem of the atoms by Rumi, explores the idea that all things, including atoms, are dancing in a cosmic dance of joy and ecstasy, inspired by a divine source. There's divine unity, there's ecstasy and joy, the dance of the universe, there's enchantment and wonder. Tell them and share my truth of the beloved, my dreams. This is something that when I was sitting down writing this came to me. Tell them and share my truth of the beloved. So my higher self was telling me to share the dream that I believe I've shared that with you before, but I will again share with you. When I was about, I want to say about 15 years of age, and I was in high school. I think I was a junior. Yes. A sophomore? No, I was a sophomore. I wasn't a junior. I was a sophomore in high school. And I had a class, my physics class, and our teacher was explaining the atom, okay? And he explained it in a way with an equation on the board. And then we were sitting, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines with kids, all the way to the back. So it was our turn where I was sitting. We had to stand up and go to the board and then work on this equation that he had shown us. Now, remember, I have dyslexia with numbers. I've had this since I was a little girl. I could not, for the life of me, figure what in the world. It didn't make absolute. It was just gibberish to me. Regardless of how many times I tried and tried and tried, and then the tears just burst my eyes. I just cried and I ran out of the class. And the kids were laughing at me, and I felt so stupid. I felt foolish. All these feelings I had. So that night, because I talked to God all the time, and I share with him what's going on with me and how I feel about things. So I told him what had happened at the school, and I shared with him my innermost deep feelings. So I told him what had happened in the class, and then I fell asleep crying because I cried myself to sleep. And then I had a dream. The dream that I had was, it was a pitch black night. It was a night full of stars, and I was tiny like a little bird, and I was perched. I say perched because birds, they perch themselves, but I was in the shoulder of a being. And when I turned to see the face, I saw only the side of him, but he reminded me of a Greek statue of a god of some sort, but I knew that this was God. And he had his hair, because it was dark, I could not see the color, but it was dark, but it was all like wavy, like this, beautiful wavy. And it reminded me of one of those beautiful statues of like Zeus. And his profile was exquisite. It was just chiseled. It was an exquisite being. And his voice, oh my God, his voice, yes, my God. It was my God. And he called me Viviana. He called me Viviana. Viviana, listen. Just listen to this. So his hands, he was gigantic. It was like a mountain. It was a gigantic being. It was like when I would look down, it was almost like I was out of the earth. I was in the universe. I was among the stars. He was humongous. His hands were huge, and I was up here on his shoulder, perched on his shoulder, like a little bird. And then I saw him do this with his hands, and he said like this is all you need to concern yourself with. And inside between his hands was the form of the atom. You know, the atom has a form, you know, like sacred geometry. Then it cracked open in half. Both hands were like this. And in the center, you know, when you light a candle, I'll show you, I have a match here. I'll show you this. You see this? The flame is iridescent and it's kind of bluish. Okay, I'm gonna tell you, it was huge like that, like the flame, but it was more iridescent and bluish. And then when it cracked, it was like fire. And he was telling me, this is the only thing you need to concern yourself with. The nucleus of the atom and the nucleus of all things that everything's made of is love. That's all you need to concern yourself with. Don't worry about the numbers. That's going to come later for me. I know that. He told me in another dream. And he kept on repeating it. He repeated it 3 times for me. Do not concern yourself about the numbers. Love. The nucleus of all things is love. So when I'm telling you, the dough, to raise the bread, you need yeast. So we need love to raise our vibration. We need to knead it like dough into our lives, incorporate it into our lives. And I am so grateful that I have this relationship with my Father, because I trust him wholeheartedly with everything. I know that I'm not, my ideas or the way that I am now, it's not, I don't think it's seen very, by some people, some members of my family. And I had a hard time for a while, but I understand, because I cannot say no to my Father. My Father asked me to go on this path, and I respect myself and I love myself, but I love him more than anything. So I listen to him, and he guides me. He's guiding me in this path. He shows me things. He teaches me things. And I love my future. I've seen my future in my dreams. Not many things, but you know, just enough what I need to see, what he needs for me to see, for me to understand. So that's these things that I share are my truths. This is not the truth, the only truth. No, because like I said before, we're all different individuals. There's a diversity of souls. Like some are artists, are painters, musicians, some work the earth in sciences. And so there's a vast, don't you think, it not boggles my mind, but it's such an endearing thought that we're so different, all of us. But I think it would be such a beautiful thing that we can all come together and then speak about our different ideas and share them and grow the different communities. People are having so many problems about so many different things nowadays. And people lose hope, and people are angry because of this, because of that. But you know what? We are beings that we are loved. We're being guided. We are being awakened. I don't know about you guys, but I know that I have been. is an underlying truth in this poem. Sounds are heard everywhere. They are at work day and night. Now for me, what I get from these words of this ancient poet, everything is energy, and this poem awakens in me the exuberance, the breath of life itself. It cries out a universal truth and what we should expect from life, to see beyond what our mere physical eyes can see, to expand our minds, our imaginations, and to be in touch with our senses, our emotions, and what do they evoke in me as I listen or I read a poem. It does not use the word love, but it mentions the beloved, who in truth is love itself. Thus, like my dream about the atom, God, Spirit, told me, showed me clearly that the nucleus to all things, the force that makes and creates, the atom, life itself, is the essence, the pure, undeniable essence of love, of God, of Spirit, and what we are all endowed with, being what? Truth. I love those sounds, Middle Eastern sounds. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not from this earth. I have finally, for the last 3 years that I've been here, God brought me here. I haven't told you my story about, maybe I have, I don't remember, but I'll tell you. My Father puts me in different places to teach me. I haven't told you how I got the job at the health department. I haven't, but I'll tell you another time, but I'm going to tell you this job. I'm kind of a Jane of all trades, okay? I don't have a degree. I have taken many courses at the university, but I don't have an associate's degree. No. I haven't had the time because life has thrown me into life, and I had to become responsible for my children and myself. So I had like 3 jobs to support us for many years. Now all my kids, I only have 3 kids. They're married, except the one, and they all have children. And when I lived with my mother, and our mother passed away, I was wondering what I was going to do, how I was going to take care of myself and help my daughter and my grandchildren. And I got a little upset because my mother passed away the 4th of July 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I believe. And I want to say that, no, 3 years ago. 3 years ago. The thing is, I only had an amount of money in the bank. And this is personal, but because I chose to stay with my parents and help them because they couldn't afford to have a nurse to take care of them. So I decided, and I got room and board, and I earned my keep, and I kept the gardens and all that, which is my love. And also doing that, I study, because I study. Besides, I love to study things, archaeology. I love to study science. I love to study. I'm like an avid reader, and to learn for me, it's like I cannot imagine myself not learning something. When our mother passed away, I thought, okay, now what am I going to do, Father? And I got a little bit sad because I thought, oh crap, now life is hitting me in the face again, and I need to figure out a way. What am I going to do? And then I started to get like kind of a little bit desperate. But then something, go to the garden. So I went to the garden, and then that's when I, remember I've told you, wah, wah, wah. The baby crying to the mom, and the mom gives the baby in the boob here, or gives the baby the bottle, and the baby, So God, and need your help. What do I do? So like that one time when I was angry at him and I was like worried and worried and worried. And then he shows me this. Look at that. You see the smiley face there? And I heard the song in my head. Don't worry, be happy. So, okay. No, this didn't happen this time. I cried unto him and I said, Father, what do I do? And then this peaceful feeling came over me. And I heard in my heart, in my mind, don't worry. It's going to be okay. I got you. So, because he said that to me, I said, okay, I'm good. All right. So our mother passed away the 4th of July. And so my daughter was moving in and I was in the process of getting her moved in. I had ripped up carpet. I had worked on the wooden floors. I had painted the bedrooms. I had done stuff, painted the bathroom. I put new wallpaper up. I was doing all these different things, getting the house ready to get my grandkids and her to move in with us. So I didn't have time to do anything else but that. And so out of the blue, someone called me, and I want to say this was, my mother passed away in July. In September, at the end of September, at 6 in the morning, I had a friend, a Brazilian friend, that called me early in the morning, around 6 in the morning, and she said, Vivi, I've got something for you. You need to, I need to talk to you. And I was thinking, why would she call me so early? Although I was up, but because I get up really early. And she said, get back with me. I've got something for you. So I called her and she said, I've got a job for you, my darling. And I said, what? I'm not looking for work. She goes, yes, I've got a job for you. You were made for this. This is an amazing opportunity. Da, 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 da. And I said, no, Dalva, you don't do that. You don't get me. She made the appointment and it was on that day. And the weirdest thing of all, I said, no, I'm not going. I'm sorry, but you cannot make an appointment without asking me. I haven't even thought about it. I don't know what this entails, how much they pay. And no, Dalva, I told my friend, no. Okay. So I had to go to a friend of mine and take a recipe that my mom had promised to give to her, and I had a copy of it. So I went over to visit my friend, my friend the nurse, the one that passed away. I went to her house and I took the recipe, and then I told her what had happened with this other friend that had called me. And she says, well, what is it about? I said, well, I don't really know what it entails. It's about someone that needs help. They need a caretaker. I said, but I don't have time for that, Debbie. I'm taking care of my grandkids and I've got work in the yard and I'm planning to redo the garage and I want to do this and I want to do that and I would put tile up and all these things. Because I'm telling you, I do like pretty much everything. So my friend says, well, why aren't you going? I said, well, I canceled it anyway. My GPS doesn't work on my phone. She said, what? So she grabs, this is my friend the nurse. So she was a hospice nurse and she had two phones, her personal phone and her work phone that she would always put it here. And she goes, I got my phone in my boob, Vivi. I said, get it out of there. You shouldn't have your phone. It's not good to have it in there. No, don't worry about it. So she grabbed the other phone from the bag and she hands it over to me. And she goes, where's that place at? I said, oh, I think it's somewhere. I told her where about it. It was. And she started fiddling with her phone and she looked at my phone and said, oh, I know where that's at. She put the address on her phone and she goes, here you go. I said, what? Well, I forgot to tell you, my friend, my Brazilian friend told me, Vivi, this job is not from me. It's from God. God needs you at that job. You need to go there. And I said, no. You don't do that. God hasn't told me. He told you, but he hasn't told me. So my friend Debbie, what did she say? She hands me the phone. Vivi, you have to go. This job is from God. You have to go. And I thought, okay, this is the second time I hear this. And then I look up, Father, if it's you, if I hear it the third time, then I know it's going to be from you, then I have to go. Okay, so I took the phone. I said, thank you. And I called Dalva. No, I didn't call Dalva yet. My friend, I didn't call her name is Dalva. So what I did, I stopped the car on the side road and I quieted myself. If this is from you, then you'll let me know. Oh my gosh. it was overwhelming. It was like this warmth and this peaceful feeling and this amazing feeling. Okay, Father, okay, 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 okay. I'm coming, I'm going. I've been here 4 years now, nearly 4 years, nearly. And has been an amazing opportunity for me to learn about myself, about my little patient. She's a very extremely special human being. She's blind, deaf, and mute. We communicate with touch. She knows when I'm near her. She feels my hand and she pats me like this. The days that I've taken off when I'm not here and she's upstairs with her family, she crawls close to the door, to the stairs. She wants to go down because she misses me. I taught her. She's potty trained in the mornings. She had never been potty trained. I've taken her to the waters. She loved the Honeyville. We go to the hot springs. I love the hot springs. I love water, so the hot springs, I take her there. That's her favorite thing to do. We haven't done that much lately, but that's one of the things where we try to go as much as we can. It has been a very humbling, very beautiful experience, and I know that God has been teaching me, and I know that I've been doing a lot of my growth, my spiritual growth here is kind of in a hermit state because there's so much quiet, and I actually love the quiet. I love sound. I love music, and I like it when I like music. I like it full blast, like loud, that it just seeps. I can feel it in my body. I can feel it vibrating, and I have a little garden out there. I planted lavender. I planted beautiful plants. I planted what is it called? A dragon plant, I think it's called, and lots of lavender and phlox. I made a really pretty garden for them up there, and now I've taken her on a vacation. We've flown to Kennewick in Washington last year. I took her we were gone for a month, and I took her to the horses to see animals. She loves animals and nature, and she loves to go for walks. She can't walk very well, so she has to be in her wheelchair and her stroller. And so we're taking a little vacation this time too, so we're excited for that. I hope that you guys are all doing well. I hope that these words about truth has touched you in your heart, and if you're trying to seek your truth, it's not difficult to find, because truth makes you happy. Your truth will bring you and take you to the things that you love. But you need to trust yourself. You need to create a relationship with yourself and God, because God is here to help us. There's millions of people, billions of people, and all his children. He knows each one of us. Can you imagine being known? I know he knows me from south to west. He knows me from east to west. He knows me like he knows you. And I know that we are living in harsh times right now, but I believe that there's a reason for that. There's a reason for us. We need to awaken to the best part of ourselves so that we can service each other, so that we can help each other, so that we can trade, ideas and work together. Do something to help mankind and give hope. Okay. I'm not sure if how I'm going to do it, where I'm going. But I'll try to do my best to send another one the following week. And wherever I may find myself, I'll do my best to do it. And I want to tell you that you are so loved, all of you. You are so loved. And I know this. I know this to be true because the Creator, He He loves all his creations. He, and when I say he, I mean both he and a she, because for me, God is a mother and a father. Mother Earth for me is part God. And both, since all of us are feminine and male and female, we both have that within us. Nurture yourselves. Find the best that's within you and do something with your lives that will make you proud of yourselves. And don't be hard on yourselves. Forgive yourselves for whatever crap that you've done. None of us are perfect. All of us have made mistakes. This is why we're here. We're here to learn. And the only thing that matters is, use love to heal yourself. Love yourself and knead love into your life. Like dough, like a piece of dough, like the most delicious bread. I always take things and compare it to food because food is delicious. Now, mind you, not all food is delicious, because when I was little, my mother force fed us something that is disgusting for me. I've never, and I will never, ever, 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 ever eat it. You couldn't pay me enough to eat it. She would feed us liver with onions. Liver. Just imagine that organ is all blood. Oh, no. Okay, I'll stop right there. And I'm sure it tastes delicious. I'm sure people will think, no, but that's delicious and you ate it. Well, I'm sorry, but I don't eat that. I don't want any of that. There's some things that I don't like blood sausages and gross things like that. No, I'm not a very big meat eater anyway. I mostly like fish, and I'm trying to just be more, stick to just vegetables, because I'm mostly vegetarian. But I do eat fish because I love fish. I love sushi. I love anything that has fish. I love fish soup. My grandmother taught me the best recipe for fish soup. That's so yummy. Anyway, so use love like yeast and knead it into your life. Knead it into your heart. Knead it into everything. Knead love into yourselves. And if you have no one to hug you, then hug yourselves. I hug myself all the time. All the time I hug myself. And sometimes when I go to sleep and I love to sleep with lots of pillows. I'm like a kid. So I grab the pillow and just hug it like that. And I got this big teddy bear thing that someone gave me. And it got ruined because one of the kids that was playing over here, the thing got ruined. So I put it in the washing machine and the ears fell out. And anyway, I had to throw it out. I was so sad because, what happened to my big teddy bear? I used to have this big, huge teddy bear. See, I didn't have dolls when I was little. I never had stuffed animals. So I've been collecting those things for myself. I know I'm silly. Anyway, you guys have a wonderful time. Have a wonderful week. I love you. Have a wonderful day, okay? Take care of yourself and stay positive and smile and eat healthy and dance and listen to music full blast and love yourselves, okay? Love you. Bye. Oh, it doesn't want to stop.